La for hatred for none, for Islam stand for peace. La for hatred for none, all the time. La for hatred for none, for Islam stand for peace.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome yet again to another inspiring edition of Inspirational Africans, where we bring you powerful, exciting, as well as profound stories to inspire you, to encourage you to give off your best and become someone productive in the community. Today, we have a very interesting guest. Let us see who we have on Inspirational Africans.
Mr. Zakaria Malik is a man whose story demonstrates how faith and determination can help one overcome severe challenges to make something meaningful out of their lives. Born visually impaired in the Upper West region of Ghana in 1951, Mr. Zakaria has braved all odds and pursued his education diligently to become a scholar. He holds a diploma in religions from the University of Ghana and bachelor's degree from the University of Cape Coast. He is the first and probably only visually impaired person in Ghana to be proficient in Arabic Braille. Needless to say, he is proficient in English Braille as well. Mr. Zakaria is currently the Arabic Islamic Religious Coordinator of the Ahmadiyya Education Unit in the Upper West region. He has also worked with the Ghana Education Service for many years and has taught different subjects at various points in time. Mr. Zakaria has won the respect and admiration of many who regularly seek his wise counsel. He is a true embodiment of the aphorism that disability is not inability.
Ustaz Zakaria Malik, welcome to Inspirational Africans. And we are very happy to have you and to share your story to our viewers.
Same to me.
So, Ustaz, we just found out that you are the first, visually impaired person to be competent in Arabic Braille in Ghana. Of course, you are competent in English Braille, but to also become competent in Arabic Braille. So does that mean that you can read Braille in different languages?
No, I can only read Braille in English and in Arabic.
Yes, okay, well, in two languages.
Yes.
Okay, so the way you write Braille, as in English and Arabic, they are different, I suppose, completely different, right?
They are, I can say they are identical, and I can also say there is difference. Identical because the alphabets and the dots used are the same, but you will see something in English which the same thing will not be the same in Arabic. That is what I mean by saying they are identical and also different. Let me give an example. For instance, Braille is in dots. We have 6 dots which we use to write all the letters, whether Arabic or English. These 6 dots form the letters, the various letters of Braille language. Now, I can write, if you find dots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. If you see it, we will call it and, a short form for and. Because Braille, if you try to write all, sometimes it is voluminous. But when you see this same dots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6 in Arabic, that is the letter sword. You see the identical form I'm talking about. That is it.
So it's about the positioning the dots in different ways.
That is.
So, Mr. Malik, let's probably go back to, we know currently you're a scholar in your own right and having gone through various educational platforms, but for how long have you been visually impaired?
Fortunately, I was born blind. Fortunately, I was born blind.
Why do you say fortunately?
I know you will ask this question, but I'll have no answer to give except the answer of Jesus Christ to his disciples in John chapter 9, verse 1 to 7. And I quote, "And as Jesus passed by, he saw a man who was blind from his birth. His disciples asked him, saying, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered and said, neither have this man sinned nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. For as long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And straightway he spat on the ground, and made clay with a spittle, and smeared on the eyes of the man, and said unto him, go, wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation, sent. And the man went and washed, and came seeing. So fortunately, I was born blind just to make a sort of manifestation of God through the second coming of Christ, which is the promised Messiah and Mahdi, alayhi salatu wasalam. That is why I use the word fortunately. Otherwise, sight is the most important among all the five senses.
One of the things that people have found quite, amazing about you is that regardless of your visual impairment, you carry out your life as if you have no impairment. You can walk to places, by your own. Is it true that when one of your senses, becomes impaired, the others become heightened?
Yes, if one of the senses is impaired, the power in that impaired sense goes to add to the rest. But that can only be utilized if that person is very, very, very proactive.
And so let's go back to your childhood and your early education. Growing up or as a kid, did you feel that there were some things that others had that you didn't? At what age did it dawn on you that probably you were handicapped in one way?
Yeah, during my childhood, I didn't feel anything because I could even run just as normal children used to run. But where it dawned on me that I was handicapped is when I started mixing with my peers. They started bullying me, and that was a challenge. But however, it came to a time I tried to devise a sort of reasoning. If you bully me up to 3 times, I'll get you for the 3rd time. And if I grab you, it's more than the vice clipping a metal. You cannot get out of my grip. Because of that, I got some sort of relief.
So that's when it was through your interaction with other people
that I got to know.
But did you understand specifically what this impairment was?
Yes, I knew that I could not see. I got to know that I could not see. And in fact, it is only anytime I'm walking and I knock my foot against something or I knock my forehead against something that I realize that I cannot see. Otherwise, it doesn't dawn on me at all.
So let's go back to school. How did you start your education?
Yes. When I was about 6 years, they had then established the WA School for the Blind. That was in 1958. And students were being brought, or should I say pupils, were being brought to the school. The headmaster who came to open the school, my uncle, Malam Isa, was his first point of call. They became friends. Whilst the man had 11 children to start with, I was in the house. And even the first pupils were brought to my uncle to stay with him when the school was not yet, the premises was not yet all right for habitation. So one day, the headmaster came to collect these 2 pupils and saw me just playing in the center of the yard. So he asked my uncle, you also have a boy who I need. You have something I need, and you didn't disclose to me. So my uncle laughed and said, yes, because you were still preparing the place. That's why I didn't disclose him. He said, okay, now I'll come for him. Then one day I was outside playing with my friends when a Jeep, a Land Rover came. They just threw me into the Land Rover. So I thought I was going for...
I'm sure you're told it was a Land Rover, right?
Oh, I got to, the man using the Land Rover, I got to know everything because we were about getting to primary 3 when he left. So during that time, for the first time I wasn't told, but because we stayed with the man for the 3 years when I went to the school, I got to know that.
I'm just by way of just
an
interesting moment.
Yeah.
So you went you started into the Land Rover and
I know you from childhood, how you to tell me.
So that's how you started your primary
so I
education.
went to the hospital. They took me for medical exam and brought me back. That day I was very, very happy. Then one morning, my uncle just entered and told my mother to give me a bath. After the bath, I was thrown into the same car, the Land Rover. When we got to the yard, they just left me in the yard. It was there that I know that I was being cut off from my people. That because the school was a boarding school.
Oh, it was a boarding school?
Yes. So, in fact, it was another challenge. I tried to see how I could get immune. But in fact, I wasn't getting my way all right. Yeah, that's how I started the schooling.
Okay, so let's fast track your education so that we can talk about other areas. So from primary, you moved to?
Yeah, from primary, in fact, though tough one, because I didn't want to continue. I didn't want to be in school, but through the efforts of my uncle, I went through it. Then I went to the middle school. After the 4 years completed in 1968, I went to Wenchi Secondary School, where I could not stay. I did 36 days because I was told they could not pay fees for a Muslim student. So I came back and then went in for post-middle, where I did typing, English, language, practical office training, and shorthand.
So you did office training. So this was all in Braille?
Yes, okay. Yes, at the World School for the Blind. Okay. So there I went out, I joined the mission,
the Ahmadiyya
Muslim mission in Wa,
okay,
where I became the personal secretary for the Imam. Okay. That time we didn't have a regional missionary there. It was local. So I did all the correspondences for the Imam.
So like writing letters
yes.
and stuff. So how does the system work?
Yeah, when I that time they had no typewriter.
Okay.
I had my own typewriter.
Okay.
So I took it to the mission.
Okay.
They gave me the letterhead.
Okay.
I studied the letterhead, fixed it in the machine.
Okay.
I was able to space back.
Okay.
And then indent inside.
Okay.
How I thought it should be.
Okay.
When I called a certain person to come and see, he said, from here I could write anything I wanted.
Okay.
So I knew how I did it. So if I took the letterhead at that time and fixed it and started writing, people were amazed.
So the typewriter was in Braille?
No. It was
a common typewriter. So it was like the ABCD?
Yes, common typewriter. That was what I used.
But you learned how to use the typewriter keys?
Yes, that's what I did at the post-middle.
Okay.
The secondary school. And I got stage 2, where I could produce 35 words in a minute.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes. Then you were quite a fast typer.
Yes.
Interesting. So the typewriter was like a normal typewriter?
It was not like, but it was the normal typewriter.
It was a normal typewriter.
Yes.
So you were writing letters for the mission and all that? Okay, interesting.
I even, all the correspondences the Imam did to the Amir, then in Pakistan, this one, he was then in Pakistan. I did all the correspondences of the Imam to him. And I posted all monies to him. Yes. I could leave the mission, just as we were saying. I walked to the post office like a speedbird and came back with all the postal orders and whatnot. Yes, when he started using me, the Amir over in Pakistan there at that time enjoyed the postings because he never missed anything. Yes, until 1976, when I went to Bolgatanga Rehabilitation Center, yet still working with the mission. So in 1978, in the 1976, I joined the Ghana Education Service as the craft instructor.
As a what instructor?
Craft instructor. Yes, where I taught children how to weave these doormats, stools, and cupboards.
But where had you had studied these competencies back in your secretariat period?
No, I went to the center, Bogotanga Rehabilitation Center, a 2-year course, but I, by the grace of God, I used 9 months. Okay. And I was
so you were
out.
teaching students how to weave,
yes,
how to sew, how to make stuff with their hands.
Do something with their hands.
Okay.
I was there until 2000, until 1988,
okay,
when I joined the modular school,
okay,
where we did something like a sandwich training,
okay,
to be trained teachers.
okay.
After we passed that one, 88, 89, I finished that one.
Okay.
I went to regular, 1990, 91, and I completed as a certificated teacher.
Okay, so you've been certified as a teacher?
Yes.
Okay.
So after the training, I worked as a teacher in Techiman. Then 94.
So teaching as a teacher, teaching what and what kind of students?
Primary, I went to the primary school, Ahmadiyya Primary in Techiman. I taught them craft. But even when the teacher was not there and I entered the class, specifically I took them in English. Okay. And they liked it. Yeah, they liked it. Yes. So after that, I came back to WA, and then I was at Jejeri School until 1999.
Still teaching at Jejeri?
Yes. 1999, I came to the Teachers Resource Center, where I took care of the Braille materials in the Resource Center. Then, at the end of 1999, I had entrance into the University of Ghana, Legon, where I did a 2-year study in diploma in religions. Okay,
so you applied to study in Lagos?
Yes.
Okay.
I applied there, I was called for an interview and even an exam.
Okay.
So I was able to go through.
Okay. Yeah. But what inspired this desire to go for a diploma?
Yes, even in the primary school and the middle school.
Yeah.
I was interested in religion.
Okay.
But for that time, I was doing the Christian religion.
Okay.
Because my knowledge in Islam wasn't anything to write home about.
Okay.
And there I was the best chorister.
Okay, best chorister?
Yes.
You are singing?
Yeah, I can sing. I could sing, I mean. It's not that the voice is broken. Yes, but in soprano, I don't know if you did music.
Okay.
Soprano is the highest tone.
Okay.
In soprano, I could bring it down. Yeah. Something like that.
Okay.
I was the best Bible reader then too.
Okay.
And even when the school organized a quiz, Bible quiz for the school and the Scripture Union. Okay. I led the school against the Scripture Union and we won.
Interesting.
Yes.
In fact, let me take you back to your competition days. I'm going to give you a quotation. You give me the script. John 10:30.
I and my father I won.
Okay, so yeah, so throughout your life you have consistently been dedicated to improving yourself, and that led you to go and pursue a diploma in Legon.
Yes.
Okay, so you can continue the story from here.
So after that, I came to the Ahmadiyya Education Unit office, where I became the Arabic stroke Islamic religious knowledge coordinator for the region.
That's after you had left Legon with your diploma.
Yes.
Okay.
That is in 2001.
Okay.
Then I was there 2007. I left for the University of Cape Coast to do the top-up, to have bachelor in Bachelor of Arts in religions.
Okay.
Then when I came back in 2009, I was still in the office up to date.
How was your university experience, both in University of Ghana and University of Cape Coast?
Yes, in the University of Ghana, Legon, I used to move freely alone. So I attempted to do that there too. When I was going about my formalities.
That's when you're in Y, you used to move everywhere with no help.
Without any help.
Okay.
So I attempted to do that too in Legon. Okay. When I was going about my registration, my banking systems and whatnot. And the third day, I tried to jump over a gutter. I couldn't succeed. So I had a sprain on my toe. Then I decided to get a friend to go with. And unfortunately, I had somebody stay in the Commonwealth Hall. When we got to the classroom to start our course, he just got interested in me. And so anytime we were for lectures. He left his Commonwealth Hall, came to the Legon Hall to take me.
You were in Legon Hall?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The Premier Hall.
Yeah, Premier Hall, to take me for lectures.
Okay.
And so life just became simple there. Yes. Now, when I go to UCC too, there I didn't get somebody so sociable with me. So all my lectures and whatnot, I depended on these our taxis and what that were plying from the halls to the lecture theaters. Yes, that was what I used. Yes. So there, I was forced to be a rich person.
Okay.
Otherwise, I couldn't do my lectures.
Okay.
Yes.
But on Legon, at least you.
Oh,
but there were still times you had to move all by yourself, right?
Yes. Some places I did. Some places I still moved by myself. Yes.
And there were times you actually left campus to go to people's...
Yes, I left campus to come to town when I was in Legon. I came to Kokomlemle, I went to Hacho all alone. And sometimes when I directed taxis to where I'm going, they became perplexed. They would like to know how I did it. Some will drop me, they will stand looking at me until I enter. Then they say,
You know, there's always been a running commentary, and as viewers know, he's my uncle, so I've grown up knowing him, and we used to wonder how, and I was in Adenta then, and he would leave University of Ghana, come all the way through the hustle, the traffic, and find his way to where we were in Adenta, and, you know, there was always this running joke that probably he's not blind, he's just pretending to be blind, you know, considering the remarkable things he did, regardless of the fact that he was visually impaired. But you live your life as if you have no impairment.
Yes, it was through this same thing you said that a revelation was revealed to me from a reliable source, that when I was born, then Imam Haji Saleh was with his students. He was teaching his students. And so they went and gave him the news that Alhaji Malik, the cousin, has sent him to inform that the wife had given birth. So he said, oh, Alhamdulillah. And that when the messenger was about to go, he called him back and said, is the child well? He said, yes. However, I mean, he has been born blind. No, he said that the child was well, and then left. He called him back. Did you say the child was well? He said, yes. However, he has been born blind. Then Imam Isali sat for some time and said, even though he is born blind, he will be Maktoum within our circles tomorrow. That was what he said. So that was when people saw me.
When was the significance of that?
Yeah, when people saw me cruising the town alone, they wanted to know why that was happening. So some elderly man was sitting with them. He told them this, and that if the elderly man and a spiritual man has been able to say this, it means that boy is a wonderful boy, which we hope will be something tomorrow.
So you never...
So Maktoum was He was one of the scholars during the time of the Holy Prophet, and he even became Amir in one of the provinces. Yes.
So you have...
And Maktoum also was blind. That's why they say Ummu. Yes, Ummu means blind.
But have you ever had any regrets?
That?
Of your impairment?
That was what I was saying. Now that I'm sitting, I don't have any regret of my impairment. It's only sometimes when I'm in a position, people do certain things as if I shouldn't have been in that position. And that means they didn't want God to do it this way. So because of this, I wouldn't regret. Maybe if I were sighted, I wouldn't get up to this point. Yes, but because God wanted to manifest something in his own kingship and wonders, that's why I'm sure he's using me. So I shouldn't regret.
So we've at least had a fair view of your life. Let's, talk about a few things. Since you are a scholar and a religious scholar, that we know that we are at a time where there's a lot of conflict, and misunderstanding of religion, and especially how people have hijacked Islamic religion to foster a lot of, instability in various parts of the world. How do you think we can engender peace and stability in the world?
First and foremost, we have to be very, 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 very tolerant, and we should be steadfast in our tolerance. That's the first and foremost, so that when even sometimes we go to see some of the things being unpleasant, or even hear any unpleasant thing, we will have to approach those people with kind and soft words. Secondly, we have to go about, propagating what Islam is. Was the very word Islam means peace. It comes from the root word salam. So that if we say, we let the people know what Islam is, I think just as our worldwide supreme worldwide leader is going about doing, we should join him and put all hands on deck to change the perspective people have about Islam, telling them what Islam is. I think that will help.
We know that we live in a world of such diversity, and that diversity also, refers to religion, with different kinds of religion. And you are an expert in religion. How do you think people of different faiths should relate with one another?
Religion itself is designed to come and patch up differences. It is designed to come and put people together. But it is how the various people interpret their scriptures. That is, otherwise all the religions come from a common source. For instance, Islam, Judaism, Zoroastrianism, Christianity, they all, we call this tradition Semitic tradition. So if we hear the Semitic traditions, it means these four religions. One is no more surfacing, but we have Judaism, Islam, and Christianity. They are just brothers from one woman and one man. So that we should have seen things in common. But as I was saying, it is how people interpret their scriptures. And it is from both sides, Muslims and Christianity, and the Christians alike. For instance, you will see a Muslim saying that it is not good to fellowship with a Christian. That is very, very, should I say, I don't want to use the extremism. It's dogmatic. And it is these dogmas that are preventing our unity. But as time goes on, if we bring out some of these discourses, for instance, the Holy Quran says that the food of the people of the book are lawful to you, and their food is lawful, and your food is lawful unto them. Now we have to go to the Bible and the Quran to find out what we have been authorized to eat. You will see that it's all the same. You see, but it is how people are trying to gain Jamaat. Many people. That's why they have interpreted.
So you think that if, especially the Semitic religions, which constitute the largest block of religions in the world, if they would look within and see the similarities in their various faith, those similarities should rather serve as a point of convergence and not divergence. And as someone who has also lived through Ghana in different respects and different ages, and a country trying to develop itself, what do you think as a people we can do to make our country and continent of Africa more prosperous?
You are saying prosperous. I'm looking at it at a larger point.
Okay.
You are not specific. Prosperous, like.
Well, develop societies, where we are able to bring down poverty. People are living meaningful lives. Okay. So, in terms of those respects, in terms of development.
Yes. We can do this through education, one. Then we can do it again through discourses, positive discourses, I mean. And even using this religion, we can do it by using the religion that is, just as you yourself have said, and looking at the similarities within ourselves, within the various religions, for instance, these two religions. And then if we are able to educate each other and we see that there's a need to converge, of which Ghana has, however, started anyway. Ghana has started. We are making progress, and we hope to do more. If we use these two tools, religion and education, I think we can prosper.
What do you dream about?
What I dream about? In fact, my dream is that Islam, and for that matter, Ahmadiyyat, should one day, I'm hoping that the prophecy of the promised Messiah will be fulfilled so that Islam, and for that matter, Ahmadiyyat, will sweep the whole world. And if I am alive at that time, I hope to be part of that.
When you look at your life from childhood, the challenges and opportunities that you faced, what is your reflection of your life as a whole? Do you believe you have lived a fulfilled life?
For me, I believed I've lived a fulfilled life because I have seen many visually impaired people, that is Muslims. I met some 2 Muslims in Cape Coast University who converted to Christianity because, according to them, they were rejected by the community in which they were. They weren't looking after them, so Christians took them and helped them to get up to where they are, and because of that, they decided to be Christians. I was pathetic. I told them that, well, you have a course, but they have to rethink. So I think I've lived a good life, because if I had not had this education, if my uncle, Malam Isa, and his brother, Malam Salam, had not laid the foundation for me, I might have ended up in the market square. Should I say begging? I wouldn't have known the Islam, but I would have learned some 1 or 2 words, Lamini Waliyu, Sumana Waliyu, Gausu, whether they are correct or not. That's what I would have been using to beg for alms. But that has not happened, because they have laid a very good foundation for me. I sit in front of sighted people. For instance, Ramadan is coming. I'll be giving the dars on the Holy Quran throughout the month. And sighted people will be sitting around me, looking at a visually impaired, giving them commentary of the Holy Quran in Ramadan, during Ramadan. Don't you see that I have led a very fruitful life, even if it is this alone.
Ustaz Zakaria Malik, thank you very much for joining us on Inspirational Africans.
Thank you too.
Viewers, we believe you have learned something from today, regardless of whatever challenge that you find yourself, regardless of whatever impairments that you have in your life, whether physical or not physical, you can still make something meaningful. It has been another profoundly exciting as well as educative and inspiring edition of Inspirational Africans. Join us on our subsequent editions. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.